Hey guys, how you doing? John here. Here to give you a little insight as to what I have in my little Altoids Survival tin. Packs up very small. Obviously, it's just a standard Altoids tin you can get from Walmart or any grocery store. It costs about $1.50, $1.60. Pretty cheap little container, and I like it. So we'll go ahead and get into it here. What I have wrapped around it is just a standard rubber band. That's good for fashioning stuff together, holding stuff together on your pack. Numerous uses for rubber bands. A way I made this survival kit kind of waterproof and to kind of hold it together to keep it from popping open is put a piece of electrical tape that just goes around the circumference of the can here. So I'm going to go ahead and peel that off. This can also be reused. It's obviously still sticky. Okay. So now what's on the inside of the kit, I'm going to go ahead and start with, if I can switch to macro here, you can see a little clearer. On the inside of the top of the tin here, you can kind of see the outline of it here. I have just a standard razor blade from an X-Acto knife. Pretty standard. Razor blades can help you. You can strap a couple sticks to it to make yourself a makeshift knife, or do pretty much anything you want with a sharp edge or razor blade. I do have some form of a knife in here, but I like to have another form of a sharp blade. Another thing you can kind of see in here, I'm going to press down on it so you can kind of see it. I have just a standard sewing needle. Tons of uses for a sewing needle. You can obviously repair your pack, repair your clothes. I put some dental floss in here too, we'll get to later. Sewing up wounds, pretty much anything you can think of with a needle and thread we can do here. This little square here is actually, I got a pack of waterproof matches, Coleman waterproof matches. This is just the striker off the box. So I have a couple matches in here we'll get to later. This strip underneath electrical tape here is actually part of my fishing kit. I have 3 eyelet screws here, so you can screw onto a branch and make a makeshift fishing pole out of that, so that's pretty neat. And then I have about, I want to say 3 or 4 fishing hooks here, assorted sizes. They're all pretty small, but they're assorted. So that does it for the lid. And what's actually in the guts of the kit here is I made a little Ziploc bag full of ibuprofen, Benadryl. Ibuprofen's always good for pain relief, headaches, Benadryl. I'm really allergic to horseflies and deer flies, so if I get a bite, I'm going to take a couple of these Benadryl to kind of knock me out and get rid of the swelling and the pain. The next big item in here I have is just a standard Bic lighter with the child safety lock removed, so it's easier to strike. And if you get cold weather, if your hands get cold, it's easier to strike. And actually what I have wrapped around the Bic lighter is about probably 20 feet of just hemp cordage. This kit wasn't big enough to put paracord in. Maybe if I end up getting paracord later, I can wrap it around the entire kit itself when it's closed. But for right now, about 20 feet of hemp will do you. This is also good for fire starting. You can pull it apart. And you can see it's kind of frayed a little bit, so that's good for fire starting and also fashioning shelters together, tying sticks together, whatever you want to do with that. Another part of my pocket fishing kit here is actually, I dropped that piece, but I'll pick that up later. This is actually a pen, like a regular Bic pen that I cut maybe into thirds, and it's hollow on the inside. So on the inside I put like 3 or 4 split shot sinkers, and it's wrapped with about 15 to 20 feet of just a 8-pound test fishing line. And I capped it off with a piece of duct tape so the sinkers don't fall out. Let me get the piece that I dropped here. Alright. The piece that I dropped is actually a Neosporin straw. It's actually a standard drinking straw that I put Neosporin in, and I pinched off the ends and melted them with a lighter. So I have a pretty decent supply of Neosporin in here. Next item in the kit is probably 4 feet of duct tape wrapped around just a regular drinking straw, the same straw that I used in the Neosporin tube. And I have about three waterproof matches stuffed inside that straw to save a little bit of space. This is just a coffee filter. I always bring my Sawyer water filter with me, which actually filters out pretty well. The filter is good for about 500 gallons, but they said if you actually put a coffee filter or a pre-filter over that filter, the Sawyer filter, it actually increases the life of it. So, and this is also good for if I don't have my Sawyer filter and I have a water that's really turbid, a lot of debris floating around in it, I can filter it out with this coffee filter. So, and that's also good for fire tinder too. Here I just have a standard pair of tweezers picked up at the dollar store for $1. They work pretty well, removing splinters. You can think of a couple other uses for some tweezers there. I have a knife blade of one of those standard $1 Ozark Trail Walmart pocket knives that you can get at Walmart, obviously. They're pretty sharp. They got a little serrated edge. They had a little thumb screw here, so where you can flip it out with your thumb. I unscrewed that and took it off to kind of save a little weight and to make it, or not weight, but save a little room to make it flat so it all fits in here. It's a pretty heavy blade. This little hole here and this hole actually make it pretty useful for lashing to a stick. You can split a stick in half and then wrap the two halves around here and then take some of that cordage that I put on this Bic lighter here and just kind of wrap it around the knife and make it an actual functional bushcraft knife. So I know it's not the best quality in the world, but it'll do for this little kit. Next item I have here is a little, just a standard regular candle that I cut just so it would fit inside the kit. Good for fire starting, obviously. If you want to save some of the fuel in your lighter or save your matches, just kind of give this a quick strike and light that, and then this will give you a nice portable flame that you can take with you. The next thing I have here is I want to say this is about 10 yards of dental floss wrapped around just like a little piece of metal here. The dental floss is good for, obviously, you can floss your teeth with it if you want, but I put it in here more for that needle that I showed you here. It's actually, dental floss is really, really tough. If you've ever tried to break it with your fingers, you can't do it. Dental floss is really tough stuff, and I like to have it around in case I use up all my cordage on my lighter. I can use this for cordage, or also I can use it for a sewing thread, so that's pretty useful. Next thing I have in here is 3 safety pins, always useful. You can strap stuff to your pack, attach things together. I mean, safety pins, I mean, you guys know what you can do with those. I have a couple extra waterproof matches here that I threw in there just for, I had a little extra space, so I thought I'd throw those in there. A couple little nails. Nails are always useful. You can hammer them into trees and hang stuff on. You can hang your pack up on one of these nails. They're pretty useful. You can also pick a thorn out of your skin if you need to. If you lose your needle, or if you happen to lose your safety pins, you always have backup with the nails. I mean, there's tons of uses you can do with those. In this electrical tape here, it's actually a little thin piece of electrical tape. This, believe it or not, is my little pocket flashlight. I'm gonna try to attempt to unroll this on the video to show you, but it's actually packed up pretty tight. It was just one of those little flashlights from Walmart that you can get, the LED keychain lights where you push the button and it lights up. I dissected the whole thing to kind of save some space, and I pretty much just took the LED bulb out of the flashlight with a couple of the batteries, and hope I can show you guys here. Okay, perfect. This is the little LED, the light emitting diode that's in the flashlight. So let me put that down for now. And then these are the sorry, the 2 batteries that came with it. If you attach, see the battery here, this is the, which side is which? Here's the positive side, the flat side, and the negative side is the rounded one. On the LED there's a flat side and a round side. You see the flat side is on the top, the round side is on the bottom. If you attach the flat side to the negative part and the round side to the positive part, it actually gives you a little bit of light. And what I've noticed is it's actually pretty bright. Try to turn off some light here so you can maybe see. I mean, it's good for fumbling around in the dark. I mean, it's better than nothing if you don't have any kind of light source with you. But I noticed there's 2 batteries in here, so you can use them each as is, or I don't know, let me see. There's a way you can make them brighter by using 2. You can make the light brighter by using 2. I've done it before. I haven't messed with this in a little bit, but let me see if I can do this here. Oops, well, it just fell apart on me. But anyways, I'm not going to waste too much time on that. You guys can pretty much see that. Like I said, there's 2 batteries here, so obviously 1 battery gives you light. If you can connect the 2 batteries together, I forget, I have to study up on it. It's actually kind of a little embarrassing that I can't figure it out right now, but you can see you have a little light source there out of just 2 batteries and a little LED. Coming back to the kit here, in the bottom is my first aid. I have 2 little bandages, just standard Band-Aid bandages. I have, how many of these do I have? I have 4 alcohol prep pads. These are good for cleaning off wounds. You can also use them for fire starting because they're alcohol, they're flammable. So it gives you a little bit of variety there. And the last thing in this kit is actually a little gauze pad. It's a 2x2 gauze pad. You can use it all, like I said, with other things. You can use it for fire starting, or you can also use it to wrap a wound with your duct tape. You can wrap up a nice little wound that's bleeding, and you can control a little bit of bleeding. That's pretty much it for my survival kit here. Let me switch it to the wide angle so it's not blurry anymore. Okay, so you can see there, that's my little the contents of my little survival kit. The one thing that I didn't put in here that I'm actually going to, nothing else will fit inside this tin. It's pretty much maxed out. Sorry guys, it's early in the morning, kind of stuttering, but I'm going to, on the very bottom of this, I'm going to tape around, I'm going to get some heavy duty tin foil and tape maybe about like a 2 foot by 2 foot section of tin foil on here, so you can use for signaling and doing a makeshift pot for boiling water or a pan for cooking food. So that's what I'm going to put on. I'm going to tape that to the bottom of this. So that's the very last thing I'm going to put in here. So that's my little pocket survival kit. Hope you guys enjoyed and got some decent information from this video. Let me know what you think.